Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Blue Ridge Silverhound. Today we got the Monday market coin report for the week ending June 21st, 2020. Hopefully everyone's having either a great end of your day or a great start to your work week. As you guys know, I love doing these videos as a way of kind of gauging what the market looks like at all points of the year. All right. So it is absolutely important to see where we stand in numismatics today, especially as we're heading into summer. As you guys know, today is the first day of summer. In years past, we've seen people kind of take a step back from the hobby to do some vacationing, just to get away from things. And then in the fall, it's business as usual. And that's usually the case for a lot of the bigger kind of like marquee collectors, the big pockets, the big money guys that exist out there. But as you guys know, this is not your conventional year. All right, we are in the middle of a pandemic, and there's just a lot of things going on. A lot of coin shows have been canceled, except save for the online stuff. As you guys know, we've had Heritage Auctions and Stax Bowers do a few events here in the last few months, which have been kind of a surprising. I don't know. It's just a surprising, just overall save on their part to continue the tradition for some of these big shows, like the Long Beach show that just passed. So, as you guys know, we focus on 20th and 21st century modern graded coins. Which ones really hit the mark this week? Okay, coins that you need to know about. As you can see on screen, we have something phenomenal going on. And I think this really lends to where we're at in not only the hobby, but when it comes to investable coins. Second tier moderns are shooting up in value. Now, what exactly do I mean by second tier or second rate? We're talking about coins that aren't the top grade. That's important because some of these coins can be had for a fraction of what they sold for here in the last few weeks, a few years ago. Now, I'm going to talk about a few of the coins that are definitely highlighted on the list that just, I don't know, they're very surprising because these are coins that I've owned and I've sold for way less money than some of these have sold. So it's probably important that you guys know which ones are heating up the market, and it should be pretty interesting. Before we go ahead and jump in, as always, don't forget to hit the like button. Feel free to share the video. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel. The extra support will go a long way during these trying times. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the first coin. Every single coin sold is on great collection. So it was a pretty nice week overall. Not exactly quiet like it was last week. We've seen a few coins certainly make an impression. Okay, first of all, who would have thought a 1993 D Lincoln Memorial Cent would make the list? But sure enough, here it is. This one, however, is a ridiculously high-graded specimen. It's a PCGS Mid-State 69 full red. The coin is absolutely clean. I don't see a lot of distracting marks on this coin, if any. And that's really, really important for registry set collectors, which is what this appeals to. This is not a coin that I would say is an investable coin, okay? Usually these hyper ultra moderns, anything like post 1975, it's risky. It's risky to hold these coins, but as long as you're having fun doing the registry set program, then that's all really that matters. And usually the people that participate in some of the higher end registry sets, they're going to have all the money in the world to spend. Okay, so this one right here probably was left off the market for a while as far as the grade. So here's another one that entered the market on great collections over the weekend. This one sold for $1,800. Yes, that is correct. These coins can hit that kind of money. So it's more than surprising. And it's a great thing to see a coin this modern on the list. All right, so that's the first one. The second one, now this is one of those coins that I wanted to talk about. It's a 1963 D Lincoln Memorial Cent. As you guys know, this is one of the more tougher coins to find at much higher grades than 65. I've successfully graded a few 63Ds myself, and they came back 66 reds. I've single-handedly introduced about 6 examples of a 66 into the census. So that just gives you an idea of how busy I was trying to track down a coin that could effectively grade higher than a 66. All right. So this one right here is not the top grade. There are 67s. There's a few of them that exist in the marketplace. Those are $8,000 to $10,000 coins all day long. So this is a coin right here in 66. I ended up selling all of my 66s back in like 2016 for about $100 to about $125. This one right here is surprising because it sold for $590.62. Could it be just that, we're seeing just an emergence of new collectors in Lincoln cents, probably the biggest coin on the face of this earth? It could quite possibly be that. Could we see more people entering the registry set? Or could it just be a good old-fashioned investment spec coin? It's really hard to say because there's only a handful of them at 66 plus and 67. So, any one of those could possibly make sense. But this one, with a nearly 450% increase in price from about 5 years ago, is really interesting. The pops on these, there's a few hundred of them that grade as 66. So it's not like that there's enough, supply out there. So this one is a strange one. I would certainly keep an eye out for this particular date moving forward. All right, so the next one that we have here is the 53 Philadelphia Lincoln Wheat Cent. This has always been a tough coin to find in higher grades. This one is a PCGS Mid-State 67 red, an important coin to Lincoln Cent registry set owners. This one, again, is nothing that I would say is an investable coin just because, it is a common date. Many hundreds of millions of this particular coin were made. As a matter of fact, I think it's like 250 million or so. Quite a few of these were minted. There's still plenty of mint state examples out there. This one, as a 67 red, sold for $1,378.88. All right, so we have a couple extremely difficult earlier 1920s Lincoln wheats that I wanted to address, starting with this 27S that effectively is graded as a PCGS Mid-State 64 plus full red. The coin doesn't look high-end, all right? And that's okay because we're talking about earlier branch mint 1920s coins, which are just extremely difficult to find at this grade level, especially with full red. Usually they're all brown or red browns. But this one right here sold for $4,386.38. This is an important investment coin. It also helps that this could probably slot right in to a registry set just fine as is. But all in all, this is a very difficult to find coin to find in full red. So there you go, investment coin. And another investment coin is the 27D. My apologies about the reverse image half of this coin. It's a little bit out of focus, but that's what's provided by Great Collections. This one is a PCGS Mint State 65 red. Probably looks a lot better in hand, but we're talking another tough date here. Denver's aren't nearly as bad as San Francisco's, so, this one right here is okay. This particular coin sold for $1,821.38. Again, this is another coin you would hold as an investment. All right. Again, it could also slot right in to a nice high-end registry set. All right, back to nickels here, with the first one being, surprisingly, a 1980s Jefferson. It's an 82D. This one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 67 with full steps, although the full steps part of it looks a little tricky on this one. I see a lot of nicks on the reverse. As you guys know, I'm pretty, I nitpick these things quite frequently. because if you're going to grade by a certain criteria, I think it's only appropriate that they are being held to their standard. It's not our standard, it's their standard. So when you see coins like this, it gives me cause to pause, and I take a closer look at it. And I've really come to the determination that even though these earlier 1980 to 1985 Jefferson nickels can be pretty difficult to find with these full steps, I simply cannot give a pass for an example like this, where I think not only is it graded a point too high, but the full steps aspect of it is a little bit questionable. But all in all, this coin did sell for $1,417.50. Keep this in mind if you are looking to get into collecting Jefferson nickels, more so for the registry part of it. Keep in mind, you want to double check these coins even when they're graded. And I know the grading kind of guarantees things, but if the coin is at all cracked out of the slab, you might be in trouble. You might be in trouble. So beware with these type of coins. And here's another one right here, albeit this one looks better. I think the bigger issue I have with the 81p Jefferson that you see here, just all of the planchet nicks that you see on Jefferson's profile, on his cheekbone, on his jawline, in his hair. I mean, this one right here, is it a 67? It's probably close. And it's probably a coin that looks much better in hand. The steps look okay. That bottommost step has a few nicks. Again, if I had better images, I could probably assess it a lot better. But compared to that 82D that we saw previous, this one is more of a kind of sure thing walk in the park as far as its technical grade is concerned. This one right here sold for $1,864.70. Okay, kind of an active, busy week for 1980s coins. As you can see, this is not going to be the only ones on the list. I have a few more for you. All right, so look at this beauty right here. This one is pretty nice. It's a 1946 Jefferson. This one grades out PCGS Mid-State 67 with full steps. I'll note that this particular one has a little bit of a, I don't know if that's a nick that impedes through all of the steps in one shot. This one is close. Again, with these images, they're great, but sometimes you can't really tell all of the evidence that indicates that this one is a full steps. It might be, it might not be. But this one right here is a 67 full steps. And this one sold, surprisingly, for $6,879.38. Pretty incredible amount of money for an obvious registry set coin. Again, these type of nickels, probably not the best investment quality type coin at all. All right, what is an investment type coin? I have a little bit of an issue with this one, but we'll tackle that toward the end of the talk track for the 42/1 Denver Mercury Dime. I mean, it's a nice coin. Grades out PCGS Mid-State 66 full bands, so it's got fully struck bands, and I'm not disputing that. However, this one does have a pretty sizable milk spot. It's almost a foregone conclusion that if you were to enhance this one at all, that you would have to crack it out of the slab and then possibly, I don't know, do whatever you need to do to help remedy the milk spot that's on the aubers. To me, I just, that could be a detractor for me, but for a lot of other people, they might be okay with something like this. This one is part of the Forsyth collection, as you can see on the label. And this one sold for $26,437.50. Yes, it's worth every penny. Don't get me wrong. Worth every penny. But, you really have to question whether or not... actually, there's another little spot right here. Right over the Weinman initials. So between these couple spots, these milk spots, you really have to kind of, be at peace, I guess, that it's there, and they accept that the coin that you have is going to be an investment quality piece. But is this spot going to get bigger in time? because it's hermetically sealed in this plastic slab case. It really remains to be seen, but all in all, this is like every cherry picker's dream to be able to find one of these, on eBay, which someone has probably 10 years ago, and it has made a ton of money off of it. But yeah, this is just the consummate cherry pick coin right here. Not so much the Philadelphia, but the Denver, because of how subtle the over date is. This is the one for the ages. All right, so we do have another Mercury dime. In this particular case, it's a 41S. This one has what they call a small S. Okay, so it's got a couple different mint-mark variants. This one really doesn't add a whole lot of extra premium to the coin. However, this coin is spectacular. It's a Mint State 68 star, which denotes some sort of eye appeal. This thing probably looks a lot lustrous than these darker photos lead to believe. It's got full split bands, of course, and this one sold for $2,306.25. I would say that's money well spent. It's just a really nice high-end coin that could be construed as not only a registry set fill-in, but also an investment piece, because you don't see too many of these, and we are talking one of the most iconic classic designs in coins today. All right, so we got a couple strange ones here. We have a few Washington quarters. We're going to start with good old Mr. Spaghetti Hair of 1995. This is a Denver struck coin. What else is there to say? It's a tough coin to grade because a lot of these were circulated. Nobody really held on to these for any determinate amount of time, because the series, kind of like today's version of the Roosevelt dime, was beginning to grow long in the tooth. That was before the inception of the state quarter program, which kind of like saved the hobby at that point. But this one right here is a PCGS Mint State 67 Plus. This is what they call a bomb. Okay, it's like high-end, top hop. This is as good as it gets. This one right here sold for $1,406.25. And guess what? I'm going to say it. This is a registry set exclusive coin. Do not invest in something like this. And same with this one. This is the 85D. This one right here is a PCGS Mint State 67. One of the tougher dates. You get into the early to mid 80s, and we're talking about coins that are just really difficult to find. That's clean, well presentable, fully struck, with lots of luster. This one looks like a pretty decent candidate. 85p. This one right here sold for $1,027.12 this evening. All right, so we have a couple coins here, okay, that are silver and are common dates. They're from the 60s. So the first one we have here is a 62, which exhibits some pretty original toning on the obverse of the coin, and then you have little spicks and spatters on the back of that same type of toning. But this is what you would construe to be just a nice overall kind of like peach of a coin. It's a PCGS Mint State 67. It's the top of the heap. Not as difficult to find than the 62D, which is a coin that's worth $10,000 in the same grade. This one sold for $1,849.50. Now, this is my pick as being the most eye-catching, prettiest coin on the list. It's a 61. Again, it's another common date, ladies and gentlemen. This one, I would say, has the dubious distinction of being a iconic investment quality piece, because the toning is a niche kind of like sector in numismatics that people dump a ton of money into. Okay, so when coins like this pop up on the market, it really commands every bit of attention from every big-time toner collector on the face of the earth. Okay, so this one right here obviously would get a lot of action, and it sure did. It's a PCGS Mint State 67. I'm willing to bet it probably got like a 1-point grade bump for the toning, which is totally acceptable. But this one right here brought home $2,589.75. Well done. Very nice coin. And then we have a 52D. This one right here is a PCGS Mint State 67. CAC certified. It's got a little bit of toning in there. It's crusty and original. This one obviously will slot into a registry set. It's not a rare date at all. Okay, you could say the same for any other Denver 1950s Washington quarter. They all can be had as a raw mint state coin at a dealer for about $10. Okay, so coming across one that looks like this is a rare sight. All right, so this one right here sold for $3,849.75. Now, are you guys ready for a little bit of a surprise? Because I sure am. And that leads us to this next coin. It's a 2005 P Kennedy half dollar. All right, so those of you that aren't familiar with like a certain time range of Kennedy half dollars, okay, we all know that they've been produced quite regularly and they circulated a little bit in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s. But when we got to like 2003, the U.S. Mint had decided, you know what, these things are not being spent or utilized, but the collector market still loves them. So what do? They produce these coins and have distributed them under the NIFC distribution model, which stands for not intended for circulation. Okay, so a lot of the coins will exhibit kind of like satiny, frosty surfaces, but that's normal for these coins. The coins, even though they have low mintage limits of a few million pieces because they weren't making that many, they still were not white gloved. Okay, they're not proof coins. They're not special strikes, nothing like that. These are basically business strike coins that you had to order directly from the mint in like bags or like special Kennedy kind of like currency sets and all this other great stuff. So to find one in this state of preservation of this example, which by the way, have you read the label? PCGS Mint State 69. You can't get more difficult of a grade on a coin that even though they weren't distributed out into circulation, you know, it's just a kind of like a white whale to a lot of Kennedy collectors. So this one right here sold for $1,915.86. Quite a surprising one, I would say. And then finally, we're going to end it off on another Kennedy. This time it's a 64D, a common date. A couple 100 million of these were produced, actually just under that. But it's a PCGS Mint State 67 Plus. It's got a full feature double-sided toning, you know, kind of like on the lighter yellowish side with, you know, a little bit of extra rainbow coloring on the periphery on the obverse of the coin. But it's not the best looking toner. It's got a big old fingerprint on the obverse of the coin, which to me kind of like kills the desirability somewhat. But this coin right here sold for $2,321.02. More than likely, it's going to be slotted into a registry set. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the Monday market report for the week ending June 21st, 2020. We are full steam ahead in the summer. Are we going to continue to see a relatively busy coin market throughout the summer months like we did last year? It remains to be seen. It really depends on what these collectors are going to be doing, you know, between June and August. Are they going on vacation, or are they going to stay the course and enhance their collections while they have the time and energy? I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to keep you guys updated on all of the market news surrounding modern numismatics. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you again for all the support and views. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell for instant notification. Now, it's different. When you hit the bell for notifications, you have to pick. Yeah, there's a little, I guess, Dropbox or whatever that you have to pick. You know, do you want to get a notification as soon as a video is uploaded or whatever? It's not as easy as just hitting the bell. YouTube has kind of changed that up a little bit, so you guys do need to know that, because I know people have been asking, hey, I'm not getting notifications on live streams and new videos. All right, so make sure that you double check your bell notifications, so that way you can make whatever appropriate changes you need to make to get my videos or anyone else's on YouTube. All right. Well, guys, that's going to do it. Whatever happens, hopefully you guys have a wonderful start to your week. Don't work so hard. And thanks. Thanks for coming on board and checking out and seeing what's happening in the market. Until next time, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. I will see you on the next coin video. You guys take care.